Hello everyone, Strangers103 here today with yet another replay cast. Normally no content on Tuesdays, but I guess today we're trying a scheduled publish for this Tuesday, so if it all went right, it would have been published at 1600 Central European Time on a Tuesday. I know, no content from me on Tuesdays usually, but hey, like I said, we're trying something out. And speaking of the content, today we have ResurrectedEagle in a Hiryuu, and yeah. Iowa, Missouri, Friedel-Key, Neptune, Root, Ibuki, not the world's best Ibuki, but Edlon definitely have some AA as well. You definitely should be specking AA on that because there's nothing better to take. And Atlanta, so it's really just Zed, potentially Edlon, potentially Ibuki, potentially Rune without defensive, but even without it's still powerful. And the Kaga that don't actually have potentially really devastating anti-air. Regardless, we're going for a fighter-heavy launch, and we're actually ordering it to circle the ship. Definitely incorrect move here. Immediately launch them and head them towards B, because that's the better thing to do. Also, we have a high concealment carrier on a really favorable spawn. So, well, really favorable, we're far behind. So we're making another mistake, not headwind launching here. It's 100% a mistake. And you can argue that launching torpedo bombers after fighters is a mistake because it's a Kaga, it's got longer cycle times, take like 30 seconds to get the torpedo bombers ready, and that's about the same as the fighters. With torpedo bombardment expertise, the torpedo bombers load just before the fighters, which means that if he launches torpedo bombers then fighters, he's going to have a hard time getting anywhere against us because we can have torpedo bombers attacking a destroyer in B as his torpedo bombers arrive, and his fighters are going to be arriving after our fighters are already in the middle here and ready to attack, so that's definitely a suboptimal start, in my opinion. Looks like there's some chat going on, like, you know, wait for later in the game when AA is weaker. Thanks, Comrade Obvious. Not brilliant apparent at all. Anyways, enemy destroyers actually being, you see, with only one destroyer though, it's like low chance we're actually going to find anything. However, our strike planes heading up to the north is pretty much a waste of effort overall, and looks like my plane's kind of unselected. The Zed actually revealed himself with anti-aircraft and actually managed to nail one of our planes, which is minorly annoying because, I mean, we know the enemy carrier doesn't have AS, that's definitely a benefit. And now we're pulling planes over here, so that's about 1.5 minutes of flight time wasted. And he's going to smoke up, so we're not actually going to get an ability to attack yet. So we're pretty much off to a very inefficient start in a way. We don't really get much spotting either, so that doesn't really tell us much about where the enemy is going. Granted, you know, going empty dive bombers to scout on the tier 7, you know, with the Hiryuu is a massive waste of time, but at least we know where the enemy fighters are. We know what kind of a state they're in. This strafe is not going to catch anything. I would have gone for just a tag inside the Ibuki's anti-air. If he wants to take the tag fight, he's going to lose it, and we can move the second one into to strafe it. But, you know, still kind of suboptimal overall. So we just lose a bit of ammo in this case, so at least that's fine. Enemy's right planes are near the fighters, you know, they're up here, so we can pressure them away incredibly easily. But still, we're not achieving anything, the enemy carrier is not achieving anything, where strike planes are mostly just blobbed up here and kind of not achieving anything. But then again, without knowing where the Missouris are, it definitely is suboptimal to try to make an early game. It's no longer early game. We've lost our opportunity to kill the Zed. That opportunity is no longer existent because we decided to go for fighter followed by a snipe lineup actually, with our planes kind of just dawdling about here. In general, going for A, we're going for C in this map, but with bottom tier matchmaking as a carrier is bad because usually it's like one blob here, one blob here. You can see that here. One blob there and a half group going here with a couple of guys staying mid, just like the Iowa. We finally actually get the spot on the double Missouri on Blyotfast actually entering Charlie. So, we know that the enemy team's actually doing a pretty reasonable split overall. So, yeah, it's really just a matter of where the key is. We've pretty much got everything else spotted away. Number 3 fighter under attack by Atlanta anti-aircraft up north. So that's definitely something to keep in mind and try to pull away from so we don't actually bleed another plane so that, you know, we're not just going to be almost equal to Akaga's fighter power. Looks like the Baltimore is requesting a CV to find the destroyer. I actually have watched this replay quite a few times trying to get the commentary down to a quality I can agree with for publishing. Yeah, there you go. Breakaway, right thing to do. Typing is very risky with a carrier, so for the most part I should just ignore randoms. Definitely go with the tag now, it's going to be inside Baltimore's even stock dual-purpose range. Now I would abandon the tag, but he actually comes back for it, so he gives us more time to come in with the second squadron and go for the good old strafe disengage into a counter strafe, and, well, Okay, thanks, bye. We get a temporary spot on the enemy strike, actually, as well. So, he was up here, and he's pulling them... He's probably just like, bop, bop, and he's trying to get up here again. So, we're actually going to cycle our number 2 squadron, the one that's got the fewer planes, the damaged one, but most ammo, leaving our low ammo squadron to circle about in the mid. But we just killed the enemy fighter, so now we need to make a move with our strike planes. And, oops, no, I don't want to have chat. The enemy Iowa here is actually vulnerable. Of course, that's if he doesn't have a full AA spec. And now the enemy strike is spotted, so if we can't micromanage both, micromanage the defense against the strike. Looks like we're doing some awkward stacking, so we lose the critical time that was the difference between reaching the Ibuki on time to strafe them and failing to reach on time. So all we can do now is a retreat path strafing. Ibuki needs to turn into that, and he can easily... Never mind. That's not going to do anything, that's not going to do anything, that's not going to do anything, that's going to kill half the squadrons, and we need to actually have aimed it here. We could have wiped the second squadron with the same bar of ammo. And now we can see number 3 squadron is basically out of ammo. I would go for the torpedo bombers, because that's just generally the more dangerous target. But, you know, we can still do one more strafe here and kill 2 planes, because that's all the ammo we have left. And we need to be fast on the Iowa, because the enemy fighters, remember, 4 plane squadrons take less time to cycle than 5 plane squadrons, because it's based individually per plane. So I think we actually just lost our ability to attack the Iowa, because you can see, you know, our ship's so far away that our fighter is going to take ages to get to and from. And there you go. No ammo on that fighter, enemy fighter airborne, and we lose another torpedo bomber to the Iowa. What we do know at this point actually is that the Iowa, if we were paying attention or wanted to check, doesn't have good anti-aircraft. It's only engage our torpedo bombers in this kind of an area, so he's got like 6 kilometers anti-aircraft range, which means he's only really just got the upgrade, and that's standard. So that is actually an Iowa that is attackable by our torpedo bombers and dive bombers. Remember, against capital ships, dive bombers first, try to split like one at the back, one at the front, get like 3, 4, 5. If he lets it burn, lots of free damage. If he puts it out, torpedo bombers into flooding and a kill. And of course, dive bombers kill anti-aircraft, something to keep in mind. Sending the planes up there to attack that is an even bigger waste of time in my opinion than trying to attack this Iowa, because Friedrich also has good AA as well. You don't really want to mess with that. Neptune's next to it, and the Rune, if he's, you know, right, he's there, so it's kind of out of range, but if the Neptune and Rune were close to the Friedrich Grosse, then they can screw our attack up against them as well. That is something to keep in mind. He is stock, however, so he doesn't have heavy auto, well, at least much heavy auto to speak of. But, you know, his dual purpose is spec for it is still definitely deadly. I mean, on its own, a Friedrich is better than an Iowa to hit as an aircraft carrier, but even then, you know, with support, you know, we don't know what the Neptune spec is, and, you know, with an AA spec, that Neptune is, again, also incredibly deadly, and the combination of these 2 guys' anti-aircraft is, in my opinion, worse than going for an Iowa, because Iowa's AA is very heavy auto focus on the Bofors. So, you know, dive bombing in Iowa kills a lot more than dive bombing a Friedrich, especially a stock one. Anyways, going for the Eden lol. I mean, we can kill it in one run, as long as we get a good drop with the torpedo bombers, and the fire can do some bonus damage to him. So, again, standard drop. 1 dive bomber, don't drop both, it's only an Eden lol. I would not drop both, and he's going to accelerate. We might not clip him one time. We actually do. We get 5 hits for 3 fires, which is incredibly lucky. But he's going to maneuver, he's turning, he sees us coming, so that's a wasted drop, that's a wasted drop. This, you need to line up over here, and then come up like that. That's mostly wasted drop, it's not going to kill him, which means he can just regenerate up again. You needed to split in this kind of a situation, you know, up here, one up here to catch him on the away turn, and the other one, you know, basically to pull the other squadron here and catch him on the in-turn, on a hard in-turn. Regardless, enemy carrier now, again, is trying to make a strike. We're pulling our fighters in. The more correct option, in my opinion, would have been just to keep running and get the second squadron closer. But we head on strafe time, we need to immediately disengage strafe in this kind of a direction. That, I doubt it's going to clip anything of that fighter. We actually get one, he needs to immediately strafe up here, and this squadron needs to be pulled up there, and strafe like this. Strafe like this, that's not going to do anything at all. Because the focus here is to strafe the fighters, not the dive bombers, because we have enough ammo to fight that. So he actually kind of evades that because we didn't pull number 3 fighter squadron immediately south, and the second squadron strafing was bad. And we failed to get a follow-up strafe against the dive bombers here. He was definitely going with the Baltimore, now he's readjusting for the Lion. So 0 micro on the enemy carrier side on that end, so we definitely could have punished the dive bomber, and then just escaped our fighters and let the strike go off and pull our fighters back for defense. So now we're in this awkward situation where our high health squadron is the squadron that is out of ammo, and the other squadron is now going to be under panic mode, so it doesn't have full damage. Well, we're moving our ship towards the enemy's group that we could actually have potentially been killing earlier. So now we need to turn our ship back north again. We've definitely realized that. And it seems like, in general, the northern side is the side that's winning at the moment, so that's kind of the better place to be. Looks like I'm pretty sure it's a line. Yeah, it's a line. It's saying that the key is Damacon, but again, key isn't heavy autofocus, key is dual purpose focus, so you don't want to fly into that regardless of the anti-aircraft damage, unless it's a Royal Navy cruiser that's been spamming it. Pretty sure that's the end of the lull in B, because, their Z is spotted here with a rune, probably the Missouri radar. Even if we don't win that fire engagement, it's a bit of an unfortunate one, but we're still ahead on the enemy carrier by a long shot in terms of fighters, so even if he gets wiped, it's not a big deal, but more importantly, we're killing off his we're killing off his ammo. He's bleeding his ammo in taking that fight against us. Both squads are out of ammo, but he hasn't realized that. And he's not going to realize that. So he just ran out of ammo as well. So there you go. We're telling it to return, and don't worry, it is returning. But if you want to do it, you need to click here and then F it to return it, and it'll automatically return on its own. And there you go. Now it's starting to move properly. It's a bit derpy UI in that sense. Now again, looks like we're going for the Edinburgh. I mean, he's kind of in an awkward position, especially if he's pushing into an Amagi and Iowa, but at the moment, he's actually the most viable even target. Again, single double bomber squadron, set the fire, let it bleed while he light the torpedo bombers. The torpedo bombers will trigger a damage control party. He actually hasn't fully regenerated. He can regenerate a lot more health from this. We actually dropped both squadrons again, only one fire for 2 hits, so it's, again, poor lineup, but this time we really need to split those torpedo bombers, because I'm pretty sure he's got another heal coming up very soon. So if he does get his heal up very soon, it's going to be problematic, because he'll regenerate himself up to like 65% health, if not 70% health, even after the fire, because again, we only hit the 2 torpedoes on him. If we hit 3 on him, we would have likely upfront killed them. And there you go, much better split, and this is what we should have done in the first one. There you go, much better drop. The first one would have pretty much been a complete waste of effort. If he turned in again, and that would be very good for us, but that's going to be 2, but oh, he just got the heal up, so it's not actually going to be enough for the kill. This squadron needs to attack here. Oh, that's underled. That is underled. He can press W and instantly accelerate. We need to aim it more like this. But I think we actually jammed the guy's engine, so he takes the torpedo. And he needed to instantly damage control party. Like, he kind of needed to mash the R button. He could have activated our 3rd torpedo, but I'm not sure he actually knew we did a, honestly, well underled drop against them. But he took a flooding, and it actually seemed like it's sticking. So for the moment, we just need to on fight this little health. I'm pretty sure he's going to die to the flooding. He doesn't have the damage control party available. That was a flooding directly after Damacon. So he's taking the full Damacon duration of flooding. And now our ship's in a much better position. We're close enough to the fight to cycle our aircraft. And it's likely that we're going to get to kill the Edinburgh. Now, the torpedo bombers are now finally going for the Amagi, something I did actually miss the chance to comment on with all the other things to talk about. But the Amagi dies, so we don't actually need to do much about that. So we can kind of just send our planes, around here to look for him. He actually might not know that we're here. He might think we're up here or something, but we don't. Defending the Benson, but the enemy carrier is horrible, so the Benson should be. Is only going to die if he himself does a suicide and commits suicide to the enemy planes. Granted, pink player, I wouldn't count on it. There's no real point in sending both fighters up there. At this point, it's just a matter of scouting. And it might be better to use a 2nd fighter squadron just to scout for the enemy's fighters to be able to pressure it. But at the moment, we can just leave 1 fighter in this area. It'll stop him from sneaking past here, and send the other fighters somewhere around this kind of an area. But it turns out his fighters are over here, and I mean, we killed the enemy Edenlol at this point. But we kind of missed, in my opinion, we did kind of miss an opportunity against the enemy Eye. We're just stacking up double dive bomber, going for the fire, setting fires on him, waiting for damage control party. If it doesn't damage control party, let it burn after we've killed off his enemy fighters, because, enemy fighters aren't actually able to react if they're on their own ship and cycling, because, we got the free wipe on that. So the enemy carrier actually got the strike and pretty much assisted kill on the Ibuki in that sense. So we were off to a pretty bad start because we failed to get the attack on the Iowa because, well, I guess we just didn't have the confidence in the anti-air, confidence in the strike plane survivability, and confidence in our own micro, actually. But it turns out the enemy carriers pulled fighters to the southwest, and his strike planes here as well, so that's pretty much an obvious state of, hey, I want to attack here. I wouldn't bother going for this strike plane right now. If we go for this, this is 100% a throwaway squad. Immediately disengage strafe now. Oh, I wouldn't disengage that way. I would have actually aggressively hunted strike planes. We need to click on the squad because that's a tag, so we need to click on it. Oh, no, that's not going to work. We can't disengage. We need to attack, fight that, and there you go. We lost 2 planes in the process there, so the enemy squadron caught up, so we only actually managed to thin out a little bit, and instead of reacting, we could continue to strafe for that. We decide to instead look at the key. I'm not sure what our FPS is, but hey, the enemy's stuff is well out of the way. Now, we make a bit of a mistake over here. The key's actually not paying attention. We're attacking from the opposite side of his view, but there you go. He's actually focusing anti-aircraft. He's clicked on our planes, because as you can see, he's killed an extra one. But, I mean, again, the keys confirm that he's an idiot, because he just away-turned them, which is pretty much saying, hey, I like sucking torpedoes, so I'm going to give you a lot of free damage. Good that we're paying attention to our retreat pathing there. And there you go, the enemy carriers now were kind of obviously attacking us, because he doesn't really have anything better to do. Keys damage control party, we can see no additional flooding over there, so, I mean, there you go. I'm assuming we're clicking on one of the squadrons. You click this one squadron and evade the other one. You click in this case, click the big squadron, because that's actually the bigger threat, and then evade the other squadron. And that's way too close, that's horrible, that's unlikely to do much in terms of actually getting more fires pasted on him. But 8 hits for 2 fires and 11k damage is definitely kind of nice. And we're now back to looking at our own ship, but focusing on anti-aircraft on that. We're safe, because we know that he's just dropped every single squadron, so he has no more ability to follow up. So we're going to damage control party, 30-second damage on is definitely kind of nice. And our dive bombers have a very good retreat pathing here as well. The beat one more retreat path was a little bit extreme, but hey, it's kind of difficult to do that properly on the map. And now it's just a matter of wiping the torpedo bomber here. The Iowa will likely kill off some of this stuff. And there you go, good wipe on the retreat pathing there. He did take away half our health, even with horrible looking auto drops. So that is something to keep in mind with the cargo. Even with few torpedoes, you only need 7 to kill a Hiryuu at this tier, so you'd want to be careful with that. And with a dive bomber and fire, you only need 6 hits to kill one, and the cargo's got 12. So it's not, if you let him get through, you're in trouble actually. And that's what I meant by using the single plate to actually continue disengage strafing. Granted, we did get caught up by not knowing that if you do have 2 fighter squadrons, you tag and strafe into the other one, and both of them are still tagged onto you. You need to manually order your squadron to attack the enemy squadron chasing you, then disengage strafe. And if you let the second one catch up, you're at this point going to be under panic, which means you're going to lose planes faster. And the enemy carrier gets lucky in that sense that he left us with 1 plane. 1 plane strafe against the cargo's plane is still good enough to deal some significant damage, though. We should have used a second plane just to chase his strike planes and strafe at them. At that point, when we committed into attacking his strike planes instead of looking to get our second fighter there, or looking to use allied anti-aircraft, or wait for better strafing opportunity, was pretty much saying that this squadron is a throwaway squadron for the sole purpose of denying his strike, nothing other than that. And we actually ended up failing to do that, so it's something a little bit of a misfortunate failure there that we just need to keep in mind. And also, in my opinion, we should have ignored the Edinburgh, because we basically wasted the first 7 minutes of our game on achieving nothing by kind of circling around looking for a target. And we can see on the end, 10 dive bombers, 6 torpedo bomber replacements. So we still have more than enough replacements to throw away for damage. Although 130k damage is definitely a quite reasonable result. And in my opinion, if you do something like this, you know, we've actually spotted him with aircraft, AFK or whatever, it doesn't matter. If you reveal the location of an allied ship that has not yet been sunk or is currently under attack, then honestly, that should be an immediate 1 week chat ban, if not a month-long chat ban, in my opinion. It's just that annoying and serious. If it's the second time you do it, it should be 1 month account ban, just instantly. But yeah, I'm strict on that shit. Regardless, we're finally actually doing a good dive bomber drop against them. And remember, none of these squads are under anti-aircraft attacks, so the guys quit back to port. So the second squadron actually gets at all 4 fires, and if you get to kill them, it's an arsonist. And I'm pretty sure we will, because this guy might snipe over the island if he's in range. This guy, I doubt, because... Actually, no, hold on. I'm pretty sure this island is the... squad number 3. Yeah, it's a big island, so he's pretty safe there. So there's a way where these torpedo bomber drops from long range are kind of a waste, but you know, because you can see he's on fire, so you know you drop him like right on top of him for the arming distance. And we actually pick up the kills for a little bit of additional damage there in the end, just to boost the numbers up a little bit. So to summarize, 1, we missed the first strike opportunity against the enemy carrier by being aggressive. Headwind launched torpedo bombers in the middle, followed by fighters and dive bombers. And that way we could have sunk the enemy's head at the start, or at least got an opportunity to attack him, which we actually lost out on. And then after that, we basically had the first 7 minutes be a complete dead zone instead of actually looking for the potential strike. When we wiped the enemy fighters, we should have gone for the enemy's Iowa because that would, well, it would apply pressure on the Iowa, and it would find out how much anti-aircraft the guy actually had. When we did loiter into his anti-aircraft, he didn't actually have very good AA. He had 6 kilometer range at least, which means he's not fully spec fit. He could still be running manual, but I wouldn't count on that. And he would have been busy with the Ibuki as well, which we kind of failed to react on time to defend. I'm not sure if we were typing or if we just simply didn't notice that on the on our screen. Not sure what kind of a screen resolution and aspect ratio we play on. This is something that does actually matter because it's not something I fully see in the replay and I know about. But that was definitely a missed defense opportunity. We could have thinned out the planes a lot more. Granted, the Ibuki, I guess the Ibuki was more confident in trying to take the torpedoes rather than broadsiding a Iowa class, which, you know, it could be like 2 overpens or 2 of your ships deleted in a row. So it really is up to the risk reward, the judgment that you have to make in this situation. So yeah, beyond that, we otherwise handle ourselves decently enough. Against the enemy carrier, which wasn't really achieving much. We didn't get 2 good strafing opportunities. We didn't line ourselves up for good strafing opportunities. And we were under-leading some of our strafes. That's something to keep in mind. Granted, this is quite an old replay, actually. So, but in general, be aware of under-leading strafes like this. And try, you know, if you do accept that you want to throw away a squadron, make sure, you know, throw away a squadron for strike plane kills. Make sure that you go for the strike plane kills fully and fully commit to it over, you know, I strafed 2 of them away, it's fine enough, so, you know, you killed 2 planes and lost 5, and, you know, basic mathematics tells us that's not really a good trade. And in that situation, it's unlikely to have cost us our ship, because the enemy carrier was auto-dropping, but if he was manual dropping, and he would let the fire burn properly, wait for it, and whatnot, he could have killed us up front there. Granted, a better player would never have given us the opportunity to kill his planes like that in the first place, but just a little something to be aware of, because carriers are kind of hit and miss in that kind of sense. You never know, someone might just, I don't know, place a completely random strafing in the middle of bloody nowhere with intention of the plane strafing in 2 minutes and your planes happened to be there. You never really know. It's a lot of stuff that goes on like that. So yeah, in the end, the 2 things to take out of this is don't be too passive. It's easy to be too passive, but try to look for a strike opportunity whenever you think you have a strike opportunity, and there I definitely believe that the strike opportunity did present itself on the Iowa in the early game. We lost the ability to make an aggressive move against the enemy carrier at the beginning, simply because, again, no headwind launchers, 100% a mistake there. Try to incorporate headwind launchers on maps like this, especially if you spawn so far back from the map. Headwind launchers, get your planes there earlier, and it does matter in the long game, actually. It does actually matter. So, something else to keep in mind there. Remember, Kagas have a bit longer cycle time to get stuff in the air, and even then you can be aggressive against his fighters and likely take the win, or whittle them down to the point where you get a free strike, but of course you need to be careful there because he also gets a free strike there. But in this case, we definitely were the better off there. With the first Edinburgh strike, split planes, anvil him, full stacking Royal Navy cruisers from a single side is generally a bad idea because you give him all the opportunities to dodge and evade them properly. Those things maintain good torque, so circling around one that's kind of turning like that is surprisingly difficult if your planes aren't fast enough, and Hiryuu's torpedo bombers certainly aren't. Beyond that, though, we did get the kill on the guy finally. A little bit lucky because, again, we forgot his incredible ability to accelerate, and we thought he was going to decelerate and stop, which, well, clearly isn't the case, because that's kind of silly to do in a Royal Navy cruiser. But we actually get the flooding, we get the lucky engine jam, and he damage control parties that, if he didn't damage on that, he guaranteed would have been dead to our second strike, so it's kind of a hit and miss and hope for luck on his end, and it didn't pay off for him. And beyond that, the enemy carrier actually didn't get to achieve much. We kind of got lucky that the Amgi died before the enemy carrier reached him. Although, I mean, it would have been better if the carrier had dropped on the Amgi as he died to the Iowa, because then he would have actually dropped his payload, and, well, we wouldn't have to worry about that for another 3 minutes, because he'd have to fly him all the way back home. So yeah, definitely think that on our end, we were actually a little bit more on the passive end there. We did get a very good damage result in the end for Hiryuu, but we could have been so much better. And we could also have killed off an enemy IO, making the game a little bit less potentially dodgy if the enemy IO Missouri group had properly pushed through instead of getting themselves screwed off and killed in the later stages of that match. Otherwise, our ship, we moved it a little bit too far away in the beginning, considering we already had a bad spawn, really back-end spawn. We moved our ship almost to the corner, so that was a lot of distance for our fighters to cycle after we first decided to cycle them. Definitely improved on that in the later stages of the game, though and it definitely shows that in this case we are a rather passive opening carrier. For those that know my carrier style, I'm a hyper-aggressive... I'm a super ultra aggressive carrier player, so it definitely shows in the style. But just to say it again, I definitely believe that in this game we could have been a lot more aggressive with our overall aircraft. So I hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast. Hope you found it useful. I hope it showed up at 4 o'clock Central European time the way I hoped it would show up. And yeah, if you like this kind of content, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to submit your own replays for critical analysis like this, where I can point out what you did well, what you didn't, what you could improve on, send your replays to replays.strangers123@gmail.com. There will be a link in the description below. In fact, an address, not a link. I don't even know if links like that work, but there'll be an address in the description below. Send your replays in there with a description of what you would like me to review if there's anything specific. Otherwise, just drop it in and I'll have a look at it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.